Good morning, everybody. I couldn't wait to get this put together again. The paint's still a tiny bit tacky. It's not fully cured. These two cross brace pieces are the stickiest, so I didn't put those in the back. They both, one goes down at the bottom here, one goes at the top. My little headlight bucket idea with the front brace in, the buckets themselves are hitting, so I gotta do all this without touching the chassis to show y'all. It's got a little lean to it for some reason. I think one of these shock mounts, or the balls, I think this one's not screwed in all the way. The metallic purple, or not metallic, but clear metallic paint. It's not metallic, clear metal paint. It's clear purple. Basically comes out as a candy purple or anodized purple. The body panels are unpainted underneath. You tilt my camera here and lift it up by the tires. They're unpainted underneath. So bare aluminum underneath and purple on the top. I read more of the instructions on it, and if I leave that paint alone for 7 days, it's supposed to fully degas and cure, or I could bake it at 200 degrees. Man, that front looks stretched out a lot further than I remember it before I took it apart. Oh, I know what I did. I used the front two holes. I need to move it back. I need to move that back. If I use these two holes, moves the skid forward, which makes the shocks are actually at the same angle pretty much. Yeah. So if I move that forward, that's gonna tilt my shocks at more of an angle like that. Yeah, more of a front weight bias, which is my intention on this, without any wheel weights in it. Try and get as much forward as possible. Yeah, I just wanted to show real quick. I didn't mess up the paint too much with my fingers putting it together. I did knock a little bit of the shine off in a couple of areas, but not much. Like I said, the paint's still a little tacky. I could do another coat on the wheels, but nah. Just wanted the chassis to come out a little better. That first coat was not very thick. It wasn't a good coating and didn't smooth it out much at all. I didn't sand the chassis any either, so it's a little rough. Second coat did smooth it down some. I'm not worried about it. It's a rock crawler. It's going to get scratched up a little or a lot, depending. I don't know what the humidity is right now, but it's just not wanting to cure. I even brought a heater in here and had this room like an oven for a couple of days. Didn't help much. So I don't know. I heated the paint up, shook it for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Doesn't take much to paint any of it. The purple's dry. I can touch it, but the metallic charcoal gray is not curing right. So I brought my little desk lamp down closer so I can use it to heat it without heating the entire room up real bad, because that was insane. Couldn't hardly breathe in here. But yeah, with it sitting at this wheelbase, when I say wheelbase, I'm meaning the skid plate forward, it's still got no difference in the articulation, I don't think. Seems to be the same. Yeah, actually, that's quite a bit bad. Quite a bit worse. Wow. I don't know why. Interesting. I would definitely have to move that back. That shouldn't really affect it that much, though, you'd think. But it got more articulation with the skid plate further back. That might be due to the shocks being at a more aggressive angle. Rake, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, still no deliveries on parts or anything, so figured I'd work on the paint a little last few days. That's all I did was paint this and look at it, touch it periodically to make sure it's drying, which it's not. When I assembled it, I touched it up here, knocked a little of the shine down, and I touched it back here on this one, but not on this one, and knocked a little of the shine down. Just right there. So I tried to hold it mostly top and bottom. And if you look at it, you can see, I mean, if you're really looking at the shine, I touched it on this one a lot. It knocked a lot of that shine down, but it's okay. It looks like a beast. And when the brushless motor gets here and the aluminum skid plate or transmission, I'm actually thinking about using this purple paint and painting the transmission also. I don't think I'm going to do the axles. So anybody that's watching these videos that's not in the Facebook group, Orlando Hunter or Orlando Builders Guild, you won't know yet, I don't think. But if you have the XO2s, they're releasing an aluminum floor and aluminum lower links for the rear of the XO2, and the hub ends, the axle hub ends for the rear axle on the XO2. They'll be in the, I want to call it gunmetal gray color, like these shocks, and the red. So Don Gargan from Tiny4x4 posted some pictures of them today. Well, yesterday, which I thought they were pretty cool. Thought about doing a little shorts video of them, but nah. I don't even have an XO2, so. I'm thinking when all this paint's dry and I can disassemble this again, I can see again. Right there, I see it now. This screw is in just a tiny bit more than this one, and this one's flush. There's a micro space in there. Oh, I knocked it down. You see the holes in it now. You can see the bar in there. That's what's keeping it from going in all the way. Which that'd be me. I didn't calculate that bar being in there, but I already figured out how I'm going to do that. I'm going to clearance that bar just a little to where that bucket sits in there better, because the headlight bucket thing I'm going to use JB Quick 2-part epoxy around it to hold it in. I'll rough up the plastic, the back of these buckets, and hopefully I'll have room for the LEDs. I'll just rough up this area here and put a little epoxy on it to hold it in. I think it looks pretty cool in there, and it gives me, I've got some really bright white LEDs that'll fit this perfectly. I have to bend the little wires underneath the cross brace in there. I also have, I think three of the UV purple SMT lights. They're not SMDs, they're really, really tiny. These are half the size of a SMD, but they should work. If not, oh well. Because I was thinking about putting them like one in here, and then one in the back. Give it 3 little ultraviolet lights. Kind of bring out the purple a little bit. Yeah, I'm just going to let it sit here for however long it takes for the paint to cure. I always go through this. My F-150's finally cured. I could go ahead and start finishing that up, wet sand it, and get that top coat of the different shade of red on it. I don't know. Kind of stuck on waiting on parts right now for this, so I could do a lot of things, but I don't get in a rush. I like to kind of plan it all out first. And I thought about changing the links around, putting the links that are in the front in the back, and putting the stock links back in the front, and give it a shorter a little bit shorter wheelbase. I'm not sure yet, so I'm still in the internal debate on that with myself. I still want to test it with the full stretch suspension right now, the way it's sitting. Well, not exactly like that. I want to move the skid plate forward. So, and I had talked to Don, I think before I even got it, about doing a flipping this skid plate around for rearward facing motor, and maybe like getting the battery in the front and everything. I don't remember what he said, if anybody's done that before. Him and Dominic Widmer already have theirs, several, from what I've seen. So the performance testing and everything, they already know about all that. But I don't know. I don't remember if he said anybody's, either him or Don or anybody else has done a rear motor in it. So depending on the weight of the motor versus the battery and electronics, I might give it a try. Don't really know if it'll help any or hinder. I really, really, really like the way this charcoal gray and that purple came out. It's a really good contrast of colors. I thought about doing this to one of my other ones. My green Jeep was originally going to be this color, but it wouldn't stick to plastic at all. That paint flaked off all over the place. So I still haven't made my side panels. I do have the aluminum for it sitting right here. So I just gotta wait on this paint to cure. The two pieces that it's got mounted on it right now, I'm not worried about the paint on those bars underneath it, on the roof bars, or the hood as you call it, front. So, and I didn't even repaint the crossbars underneath there. That's still the first paint job, first coat. I just redid the rest because it needed it. So, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I'm just waiting. If this humidity changes at all, which I doubt it's going to, it's just that time of year. If we can get a little better weather, then I'll get the gold paint out and paint my Gammy RC Baby Fat Girl wheels that I got from Don, because I do want things color matched and I want those to be gold. Bring out the brass stuff that's going to be on it, or is on it. Right now it's just brass links, but I'll work on getting more brass on it, I guess, since I can't use my wheel weights much. I might be able to, you can see the lip inside there if I can get it to focus. That lip inside there, if I can Dremel that down some, if I can get that brought down, then I can get these on those wheels. They're just too wide also, which that I have to make them fit the wheels first. So my original wheels, they fit perfectly, but these narrower wheels and apparently a little thicker diameter than the first set. So anyway, I should be having suspension links for a PO1 come in, 2 sets, today or tomorrow, and the aluminum transmission within the next couple of days, I'm assuming. Tracking hasn't really changed to say anything, so. And I noticed on my, what I thought was blue plastic, this is actually funny. I thought this big sheet of blue plastic I had was actually blue plastic. It's a blue film on clear plastic. Literally a blue film on clear plastic. Huh. Go figure, huh? That's what I originally was making my templates for the roof. And I did my own thing on the roof. And, well, roof and hood. I brought it down a little further in and stretched the back out. Made it longer just because there'll be a tiny gap between that bar that goes across here and the back of the roof. But that's with electronics in it, it's going to sit about right there. Yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm going to let this dry for however long. After this video, I'm going to drop this light down right over the top of it and just leave it set here for days. So it's a LED bulb, but it puts off a little bit of heat. And I'll get this heater going in this room again and hopefully dry this out. It should degas completely within the next few days, I would assume. I don't know. I've got multiple cans of this charcoal gray metallic paint. None of them have been left outside frozen or anything like that. No excessive heat. These have all stayed inside. Some of my other paints were in a storage shed somewhere in the trunk of a car. So some of them are definitely not the greatest if you shake them enough and warm them up and shake them up some more, they usually turn out all right though. But I don't get this charcoal gray metallic being sticky for what, 3 days now. So I thought it was more cured than what it is when I first took it off the little hooks I made. These are just paper clips. It's what I hooked the chassis from to paint it. But at first touch, it seemed like it was almost done. Nah. I put a fingerprint right here. It's gone now. I don't know. You can barely see it. The 3D print and the fingerprint were right there, so it was kind of hard to see, but the fingerprint's gone. So anyway, that's it for now. Don't know. I might drive my Durock and my Gamey for a little bit and beat up my desk, because they're both just sitting there with batteries in them and charged mostly. Actually, Gamey's full charged again. Doesn't take hardly any time to charge those 120 milliamp batteries. The Durock, I'm not sure how much charges in it. I just unplug them and let them set. Whatever. I've never bought new batteries for my Durock. That's still the same 260 milliamp Orlando battery that I've had forever, and since I got it. And the Nanotech, Turnigy Nanotech 300 milliamps, they do fit in it, but they don't like sit down in the chassis all the way in the back, but they're also a lot heavier. And I can use my little adapter that I've got and put that in it and run that if I wanted to, but I'm always afraid I'm going to break those plastic drive shafts because that Durock weighs so much with all the brass. But anyway, the more I sit here, the more I want to touch it, so I'm going to get away from this desk. And yeah, I'll get this light down over it and get out of here. So I appreciate all the views, likes, shares, comments, subscriptions, everything. You guys kind of keep it going. I don't really drive them as much as I'd like to, but I'll get to it. Anyway, I'm out.